I grew up in an environment where being spiritual or woo woo or seeing things, hearing things, feeling things was incredibly unusual. Beyond unusual, it just wasn't what was done. And my mother has always been incredibly spiritual ever since I was tiny. And yet, all of it was behind closed doors. And so I grew up in an environment where I witnessed my very spiritual mother not talk about the spiritual things that she would share with my sister and I. At the ripe age of 13, I guess, 12 or 13, I was given an Oracle deck. And at the time, it was my first Oracle deck. I thought it was strange and I didn't know how to interact with this gift. Now, I would say Oracle decks are much more common thing that you will see and experience, at least in some places, definitely in Colorado. And yet I still find so many people have never interacted with an Oracle deck or a tarot deck. Perhaps they've heard these words and yet they've never had a reading. And so it wasn't until after college that I had something called an iridology reading, where both of my irises were read by this woman. This was a gift from my mother. And in this reading, I was asked yes or no questions. And what was asked of me was to just answer the first thing that comes out, yes or no. So she was asking me questions, and one of the questions that this woman asked me was, is it safe to be weird? Is it okay to be weird? And in my mind, I wanted to say, yes, of course it is. But my impulse was, no, it's absolutely not okay to be weird. And one of the things that I attributed to being weird at the time was to be spiritual and connected to something bigger than myself, and to connect it to magic and connected to the unseen and these inexplainable things that now know in my life as synchronicity and magic and just how the world works. Like, this is very, very normal to my existence now. And yet at the time, it was absolutely not at all okay to share this very, very, very significant part of who I am and who I've always been. And that defining moment opened up so much awareness around why I had suppressed this very big part of who I am. And over the years, working with Oracle decks, working with human design, working with the unseen, having countless synchronicities throughout my life, being able to listen to my intuition in a way that feels reliable and trustworthy and clear has taken a tremendous amount of growth and clearing the way to remember what has always been here. And so I share my journey here because I know there are so many people that are starting to wake up to their intuition, to wake up to trusting something that doesn't make sense, that isn't something you can explain, but is a feeling, a thought, like a hearing, a knowing, a seeing that you may feel scared to share. You may feel that there aren't people in your life that will understand, or situations where it just doesn't make sense. And yet there is so much intelligence when we listen to our intuitions, when we listen to these hunches that we have, and more the mind has to fall away for this deeper intelligence and intuition to be heard and move through. And the empowerment that can come from trusting yourself in this way and having a reliable relationship with your intuition and knowing how to clear the distractions and clear what is getting in the way of these deeper pieces of messages, wisdom, intelligence that are begging for your attention, I believe is going to be one of the most priceless gifts that we can give ourselves in the world, in the world that is occurring right now. And so I offer my story if you're at that beginning stage of yours where you're starting to feel things that feel foreign and inexplainable and you don't know where to start. It starts by allowing yourself to not be crazy. And I like to say, if you have moments where like, I could be wrong about this thing, what if you try on, I could be right? It could be knowing something that I can't explain and seeing what happens from that place instead of dismissing yourself or pushing yourself into being what you're feeling being a mistake or wrong or bad, but that it's an intelligence that you can start to cultivate trust with.